Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and you are looking at a video of one of my properties where I've had a lot of issues with the county. This is a property I bought last year, and we fixed it up, cleaned it up a bunch, rented it to some tenants, and apparently I rented it to the wrong tenants, and we've been trying to fix that situation. Plus, there's a site plan done in 2014 where the property was not brought up to that site plan, and that's been an issue with the county as well. So I've had a few videos about this, and it was getting a little frustrating. Things weren't going well. I was worried about this property, what was going to happen, what the county was going to make me do. And I had another meeting with the county. I'm going to talk about how that went and what the plan is with the property now and how things are looking for the tenants and myself too. So I will start this video now. This is actually a previous video where we found one of the neighbors had broken into the property. And so I like to show different views of the property because I can't go in it now because it's all rented. But this is actually where a church space that is or a space is rented to a church right now. And so it's way cleaned up, way nicer now. But that's kind of what got me in trouble to begin with. And you can see it was not in great shape. Well, no, that was because the neighbor had turned on the water and flooded it. That's right. That's why there's water everywhere. Now I remember that. But the police came, all kinds of fun stuff, and the EMS because he was not in good shape. His name's Billy. I still talk to him. We try and help him out once in a while. He did some damage by flooding the place, but apparently he's trying to get water for his dogs. But anyway, here's the property. And so what happened was I rented this space right here to a diesel mechanic. We rented this space over here to a detailer. And then eventually we rented this space to a church. And this property had been used as an event center here, a diesel mechanic here, and a car mechanic before. And so we thought everything was fine. There'd be no issue. Well, then the county contacted me and said, hey, this property has not been brought up to a site plan that happened 9 years ago. And so the previous owner wanted to make a truck wash right here, a truck washout. And as part of that, he was supposed to do a bunch of work to the property. He did some of the work, but not all of it. And the county had never really, I don't know, never made him do it or just rent him. And not sure exactly why it wasn't done for 9 years. But when I got it, then they started pressuring me to do this work too. And I was working with them trying to figure it out. And then through my YouTube videos, they found out I rented this space to a church. And they said, that's in violation of the site plan. You can't have a church here. You can only have a mechanic, car repair, or a grocery store, or some kind of retail. And so apparently this place used to be a grocery store many years ago. That's what the site plan called for. And even though the previous owner used it as an event center, he wasn't supposed to. That was an illegal use. So I had a couple of issues in that I had a non-conforming use that wasn't allowed, and the site plan hadn't been done. So I met with the city, or the county. This is in the county, not the city. And the first meeting didn't go very well. And then I met with an engineer. That seemed to be going better. Then that wasn't going very well either, because I don't know if it was the county was saying different things or the engineer wasn't happy with what was going on. Who knows? But I got another meeting. This time had an architect come with me. And this next meeting, which just happened, was it this week or last week? I can't remember. Was so much better. And it was almost all different people too. And so I don't know why exactly it was so much better, but it was almost as if the county was trying to help me, or some people were on my side, some people weren't. But we're making progress now. And that's where Billy had broken in and hung out for a while. So this happened a while ago. Now I think we have a solid plan in place. We've made some progress, and hopefully we're all on the same page. So, and part of the reason I got in this meeting and the county was saying, like, we're not going to kick out tenants. We're not going to, send this to court. We're not going to, prosecute for these violations, which I'm like, holy cow, I didn't know that you were thinking about that. If you communicate with us and tell us what's going on. And I had been communicating. I had proof of communication, all kinds of it. So when they saw that and saw that we had been trying and doing stuff, I think some of the new people who had met with us from the county, like, oh, you are trying, you're doing some work. That's a good thing. Let's keep this process working. And so I think that's where we're at right now. So basically I have to amend a site plan, which means I'm working with the previous engineer who did it, and have to do a drainage report, which should be very easy because it's the same as the last drainage report. Have to remove some trees, possibly remove the truck washout, which we don't want anymore, and then do a traffic study as how much traffic is coming in and out of the property, and then submit this, and we should be okay for the site plan. Hopefully, we do have to build a concrete wall too. There's some other stuff that we were talking about before. Let's see if I can. Sorry, we keep talking about. I'll move forward here. Yes, this is the flooded area from Billy turning the water on inside. We can show you that. But there's a spot where they had mentioned on the site plan there needed to be a pond installed. There we go. Nope, that's not it either. But let's see if I can find it. Oh, right there. Okay, and I'll pause it right here. This area right here, the site plan called for a pond, a retention pond, and the county was telling me this. I'm like, that makes no sense. Well, this last meeting, they said, no, there isn't a pond here. We just wanted a concrete wall built around this area because that's where your septic is. We don't want people driving on your septic, and I don't want that either. So that makes much more sense, too, about what they want for that area as well. Now we'll go back to the flooding area here that you can see. So this building is much nicer now. We fixed it up. So I think we're on the right track there. And then some of the other concerns were the building use and what was going on with how the buildings were used. And my engineer had scared me like a month ago because he said I talked with the county and they're saying the diesel mechanic isn't allowed to be there either. I'm like, what are you talking about? It says on the site plan a mechanic can be there. And he said that's not what the county says. They said that building's not approved for it. So in this last meeting, one of the people did try to say, hey, the church can't be there. I'll talk about that soon. And neither can the diesel mechanic. And I'm like, pointing, it says right here, mechanic is allowed. And some other people from the county spoke up and said, yeah, there's no problem. You can have a mechanic that is allowed. So luckily we're all on the same page now, but it's a little bit strange. So the church situation is that they're not allowed to be there because it's not in the site plan, even though it's zoned for a church. You can have a church per zoning, just not the site plan. And the county was very surprised too. They're like, we don't know why this site plan was so specific. We don't know why the site plan was approved like this. Usually you want a much wider range of businesses that can go into a place, and we will let you expand it to a much wider range of businesses as well. But unfortunately right now the site plan says this, so we have to go with what the site plan says. So I have to do a change of use for the church if I want to keep it there. And that would entail possibly doing ADA bathrooms. There's the water that was pouring everywhere that was left on. And maybe doing more with the parking situation, checking to make sure the doors are all ADA, that sort of thing. So not an incredible amount of work, but have to get an architect involved to do some of this, which can add to the costs as well. So we're making progress there. And the building code said we need to get in there. We need to look at the property, make sure it's safe. They did that this last week. Saw the building, mostly with the electrician. I don't think they found any crazy major issues or problems there, so that was good. And hopefully now we're on the right track to getting this place compliant and ready to go. So, and it was nice having the architect and some of the people with me there too, because they're like, architects, engineers, planners are 3 to 6 months out to do anything right now. Like, you can't just expect this work to be done in 30 days or 60 days. It takes so much longer to do that. So I think everybody understands that. They're just like, make sure you're communicating with us, which I have been over and over again in writing on email, and that you're getting stuff done and making progress. And we're not going to, close down the businesses. We're not going to, go crazy. We'll work with you. So the last meeting was much more productive. I don't know if it's because of something that had happened that I won't. Oh, they're all the dogs. They're Billy's dogs. He had his dogs taken away, which was a good thing because he couldn't take care of them. We had to buy them dog food one day. I think he still has one dog, if I remember right. But on his bucket list was to breed pit bulls. He got that marked off his bucket list. So anyway, we're making progress. The property looks so much better. I forgot how ugly it was when we first bought it. And now, in a certain amount of time, and hopefully with not too much crazy expenses, we can get compliant. Everything will be good, and we can move forward with this property. So we'll have more updates. We'll see how all this goes. And nothing drastic is happening at the moment. It seems like everybody's much happier with everybody right now compared to how they were before. And I can decide if I want to keep renting the property or sell it after we get all of this figured out. So I did pay $865,000 for it. It's probably worth $1.5 million if everything's rented, all this county stuff is figured out, everything's in compliance. So I will have some decisions to make on what to do with it, but it's nice to have made some progress and not had more frustrations in this situation. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back with more videos on this property, on my new laundromat, on the liquor store mini mart, on our flips. We've got all kinds of good stuff coming up here soon. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll be back.